The suspect did take responsibility for things. He said that early on once we began the interviews with him. He claims that these, and as the chief said, we know this is still early, but he does claim that it was not racially motivated. He apparently has an issue, what he considers a addiction, and sees these locations as something that allows him to go to these places, and it's a temptation for him that he wanted to eliminate. Like I said, it's still early on, but those were comments that he made.
Did he discuss any kind of religious motivation for this, or was he speaking religiously?
Nothing aware of.
Or political?
None political. I heard nothing about politics.
Any sense of his social media history? Is that something you've been able to look at?
That's something that investigators, and they've been working on how long, and that's certainly one of the things they'll be doing.
Sheriff, did you have the sense that he understood the gravity of what he did?
When I spoke with investigators that interviewed him this morning, and they got that impression that yes, he understood the gravity of it, and he was pretty much fed up at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
All right.
So basically, he said that it was a really bad day for him. That what the suspect is doing was not racially motivated. All the spots that were hit were with Haitian people. The people that were killed.
Who? Haitian?
Haitian. Oh, Asian. You're right. Good. My bad.
Okay, I was confused. I was like, did I miss it?
Haitians? What? No.
All right, so
every spot that was hit was Asian people. All of them. And it was all forkers. So yeah, he admitted that he had a problem. That's not a problem. But all the people that were killed were Asian. There is something, he can claim that it's not racially motivated, but bruh, the people you snap were Asians.
But I mean, if you're going to hit massage parlors and the only people that work there are Asians, is that necessarily racially motivated?
That's why he cannot say about it. I'm not saying.
But I'm asking you.
No, you're right.
People on social media say it's undoubtedly racially motivated. And here's what I would say. If you want to make the argument that, there's a whole culture in regards to how white folks view Asians and that kind of dynamic.
Agree.
And the reason why people work in those massage parlors because of that dynamic, there's a broader discussion to have that.
Yep.
I'm probably not apt to have.
Absolutely.
If I look at this in a vacuum, could I say that this is probably not? I couldn't say because, if you don't have the details and the suspect doesn't say so or indicates that any type of way, it's hard to tell. Mm-hmm. However, I think why people feel so much about this, my suspicion, is that because when Black folks or Arab folks do anything, it's immediately a form of terror. It's immediately classified as like some national level threat. Mm-hmm. But then when it's a white person, not only are they taken alive, not only are they given Burger King, not only, is there like an idea of like, well, he just had a bad day. Like, let's coddle this young man and make it sound worse than what it actually is. It almost sounds like they're downplaying the implications and the actions and the malice that is behind people who take this action.
Even when he said he had a bad day, it's not the police chief that was saying that he had a bad day.
It's not in the report. That's his words.
No, that was what he was claiming.
No. That's not. I can put it back, but it's not what he said.
Okay.
He was saying, he's someone who had a fed up, and then he said, and then he had a bad day. That was his words. That was his characterization.
That's not what I heard. I heard, according to him, it's someone that had a bad day.
The bad day portion is his characterization of how
that's not what I understood.
They got that impression that yes, he understood the gravity of it, and he was pretty much fed up at the end of his rope, and yesterday was a really bad day for him, and this is what he did.
It's not the white, it's their characterization of what he said. See, but I'm in the show, so yeah, when you characterize things in such a positive light to make this person just seem like he had a long day, I had a bad day, I take a wow, like when you make it sound like that, of course, motherfuckers, like it's not a grocery store song, my nigga, like. What are you talking about, right? They're willing to call us savages and animals and like the most brutal thing. But when they talk about this stuff, they just make it sound much more palatable. The language surrounding perpetrators when they happen to be white is so empathetic. And it rubs you the wrong way because you do not accord that same level of empathy and sympathy for Black defendants. Even when they're not guilty or when you're uncertain, you seem to be so volatile. But
when they're victims,
that's the perception. I'm not saying it's reality. That's how people perceive it. Even me, I'll probably think about it that way. So I understand why people had such a visceral reaction when they saw this.
Yeah, of course.
Because people understand like subtleties. Like he had a bad day. He was at the end of his rope. Almost like he couldn't control himself. Huh? What? You drove around to a bunch of spots, you got your guns ready, your ammunitions, you blasted a whole bunch, you didn't understand, you premeditated the whole thing,
And when
you
you-
were driving to another spot to do more, and
when you got caught, you were on the way to Florida to do some more deeds.
Come on, bro.
First thing I'm gonna say is this: he's not putting his opinion like that out there because he's not unable to. He cannot. It's in process, right? He can't say. I don't even understand why they have these huddles with the journalists and ask. He can't say anything, and everything else is going to be taken out of proportion, right? Now, right now, the rhetoric is that he never claimed that it was racially. The police chief was not unable to say that it was not. No. He was reporting what the suspect said because he cannot admit an opinion because that is going to change the whole thing. I don't even know why the police chief always, after all these grand things happen, goes in front of the cameras and be like, yeah, next question. That's what he said. I can't say shit. Okay, next question. Yeah, it's just in process. I can't say it. Next question. Yep, still I can't say. They can't say shit. So there's nothing they can do about that. And then after that, it gets twisted and turned. He cannot admit an opinion. But people are like, oh, he doesn't want to admit an opinion. No, he cannot. Okay? I can because I'm not a chief of police.
The problem is not the language. The problem is the perceived double standards, which is very accurate.
Yep.
The way that they cover Trayvon Martin versus other people, the way the pictures that they use in the news, like we see it. We see the characterization of folks.
Or people that are even victims.
Affluenza, remember him? He was too rich to know what he was doing was wrong. What? They would never say that for a poor person, ever, even though poverty is a far more adverse indicator of crime and predictability. But for a rich person who does something terrible, they got affluenza. Nigga, what?
It's laughable.
He just caught the flu and murdered people. What?
Influenza, no?
Bro, I'm nah, bro.
Yeah.
So
That's what it is.
if you guys feel some type of way about this, you're entitled to. You guys are very justified. I get it. I support it because you know what? I see the media bullshit happens.
I just don't know why they still do these idols.
And you want to hear the extra part? Apparently this man got caught with t-shirts that said COVID-19 brought to you by China. This man, the police chief, had t-shirts like that.
No.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. It says COVID-19 brought to you by China, CHYNA. China.
Really?
Yeah.
chief of police.
Perception-wise, it looks terrible.
Oh, wow.
You have what appears to be, let me say just appears, but not certainty, appears to be a racially motivated crime by a white perpetrator. And then you also have a white police chief kind of softening the blow. The optics look terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
It looks bad.
So, yeah. You know what? My heart goes out to the victims. And, you know, in regards to what's happening to Asian folks, like, yo, listen, it's a problem. That's all I'm going to say. I have no solutions. I have nothing to add. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with some of the rhetoric? Do you guys agree with the perception? Do you think it's reality? We want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. I think there's a good discussion to be had.
Why do we keep doing this and they can't answer? It's dumb.
Mira como